This one's for you. Come on over. This morning we have Karla Moreno-Bryce speaking on 5 healthy habits for raising vegan families. We'd like to welcome Karla to come on out.
I want to start off with today's presentation just saying a little bit about my background. I began my vegan journey 11 years ago as a way to widen my circle for compassion for animals. And somewhere along my journey, I decided that when I have children, I will want to raise them on a vegan lifestyle as well, as a way to instill the values for compassion, to set them up for long-term health, and to take care of their future environment. And when my husband and I decided to start a family of our own, we did exactly that. We have a 1-year-old daughter. Her name is Camila, and she has been vegan since conception and thriving wonderfully on plants. Now, there continues to be myths around not just a vegan diet, but raising children on a vegan diet as well. I've heard from children cannot thrive on vegan diets, to children eat cow's milk to meet their calcium needs, and that raising vegan families is complicated and not possible. But the reality is that it is possible. And I'm not just saying that because I specialize in vegan nutrition or because I'm raising my daughter on a vegan diet, but because it is supported by several health organizations. One of them is actually the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics that states that appropriately planned vegan diets and supplemented vegan diets is nutritionally adequate for anyone in the life cycle. So not only is it appropriate to follow a vegan diet during pregnancy, but all the way through adulthood. And so today with you, I want to share 5 healthy habits of raising vegan families. And if you're new to veganism or considering adopting a vegan diet, I want to give you the reassurance that you can plan a healthy vegan diet for your families. When I started my vegan journey, I definitely didn't do it overnight. It took some time. I took gradual steps to get there. So give yourself a little bit of flexibility in your journey as well. And if you have been vegan for a while and are currently following a vegan diet as a family, I hope that you learn something new from today. So the first healthy habit that I want to talk about of vegan families is that they choose iron-rich foods. I work with families, and a very common question that I get is, Karla, what's one food that I should be giving to my family every day? And I really like that they ask this question because it shows their commitment to want to nourish their family. And what I tell them is that it's not one particular food that they should be giving every day, but it's one particular nutrient, and that's iron. And iron is important for our health because it helps blood production, but it's particularly important when raising little plant eaters. Iron helps, it's helpful for infants, toddlers, and children because during this time they are rapidly growing, and so they need iron for proper growth and development. Now, what are some plant foods that provide iron? There's beans, lentils, tofu, and even some leafy green vegetables. And I want to share with you a very simple meal that I make for my daughter. It takes very little effort and very little time. And I want to share this with you because I think it's something that you can replicate at home as well. And that's, all I take is chickpea pasta, and then I saute some veggies like onion, garlic, whatever else I have on hand, like zucchini and mushrooms. And then I add a tomato sauce to that. And you can definitely use your favorite pasta sauce or tomato sauce. And so we have the chickpea pasta, which is a good source of iron. And then we have the veggies and tomato sauce for some vitamin C, which actually helps iron absorption. And it takes me less than 30 minutes to make. And I feel that this meal is something that a lot of families can do at home because pasta is something very familiar to most of us, I feel. And so it's something that you can make on a busy day or, on meatless Mondays too. And I really enjoy this meal because, all you have to do is replace or substitute regular pasta for chickpea pasta. So adding good sources of iron-rich plant foods into your meals is important. So the first healthy habit is to add iron-rich foods. The second healthy habit is to add healthy fats to your diets. And oftentimes we hear to limit fat. How many of you guys have heard to limit dietary fat in your diet? Yeah, most of us have. When raising vegan children, we actually want to include fat in their diets. Fat plays several roles in our health. It helps cushion our organs, and it also helps absorb certain nutrients. So we want to include a variety of sources of fat in their diet. Fat is also a good source of energy, so it provides calories to support proper growth and development for kids and brain development as well. So some plant foods that provide fat are things like avocado, we have nut butters, seed butters, tofu, a lot of soy foods provide fat as well, and cooking oils. Don't be afraid of using cooking oils in your meals. Not only do they provide fat, but they also they add flavor to meals. And I think that when we're adopting a vegan diet, we often forget to add flavor to our meals. So don't be afraid of using cooking oils. So it's something that is fairly easy to include in your diet. We can add avocado to tacos or even nut butters to our smoothies or oatmeal, and these are items that you probably already have at home and that you can begin to include in your diet. So the first healthy habit is to add iron-rich foods. The second healthy habit is to add healthy fats. And the third healthy habit is to add calcium-rich foods. Now at the beginning, or I think I mentioned it, but at the beginning of the talk I mentioned how we often hear the myth that children need cow's milk for calcium, for strong bones and healthy teeth. But the reality is that there is no nutritional need for cow's milk to make calcium. And that is because calcium is found in all the food groups of the plant kingdom. So by including a variety of plant foods in your family's diet contributes to meeting calcium. And one of the best sources of calcium that I recommend to parents is plant milks, fortified plant milks. And that's because the calcium in plant milks is very well absorbed and it's very similar to that of cow's milk. So other plant foods that provide calcium are things like we have calcium-set tofu, we have fortified orange juice, almond butter, and even some leafy greens provide calcium as well. I often recommend spinach to families, and spinach does provide calcium, but our body doesn't really absorb it as well. And so I recommend to cook it in your meals. A preferred way to have spinach is cooked because the calcium gets better absorbed. So by adding a variety of plant foods in your children's diets ensures that they are meeting these needs, that they're meeting iron, that they're meeting calcium, and also some fat. So the first healthy habit was to include iron-rich foods. The second healthy habit was to add healthy fats. Third healthy habit was to add calcium-rich foods. And the fourth healthy habit is to supplement adequately. Now I often hear from parents, well, Can't plant foods meet all of our nutritional needs? And to some extent, yes. Adding a variety of foods in your children's diets can meet their nutritional needs, except for one, and that's vitamin B12. And vitamin B12 is not readily found in plant foods, so we want to make sure that we supplement. And I often ask parents, well, how are you meeting your vitamin B12 needs? And many tell me that they use nutritional yeast. And yes, nutritional yeast does include vitamin B12, and certainly it can be a great addition to your children's meals, but it shouldn't be relied to obtain vitamin B12. The most reliable way to obtain B12 is actually with a supplement. And so anyone in the family who is following a vitamin or a vegan diet, it's recommended to supplement with the B12. The second one that I would want you to consider is vitamin D. We live in Minnesota, and majority of the time, through the year, we don't have adequate sunlight. So it's important to consider adding a vitamin D, especially if our children are not outdoors exposed to sunlight. And the last one that I would want you to consider is iodine. Iodine is one that is not often talked about in the vegan community, but all vegans need iodine. And you can certainly get it from iodized salt. Other condiments like sea salt or soy sauce are not reliable ways of getting iodine. So a supplement would be the most appropriate way to get that nutrient. So we talked about the first healthy habit of adding iron-rich foods in your kids' or in your family's meals. The second healthy habit to add healthy fats. The third healthy habit to add calcium-rich foods. The fourth healthy habit to supplement adequately. And can anyone guess what the fifth healthy habit is? And that's to have fun with food. So much of the time we are focused on making sure that we are eating right, that our kids are getting proper nutrition, and yes, that certainly is important. But there is room to have fun with food. It's okay to go out for pizza on Friday night. There are a lot of chains nowadays that cater to vegans and that offer vegan options. So it's perfectly okay to go out to a restaurant for a family meal. It's okay to have convenience foods. These foods really help eating vegan make it easy and able to maintain a vegan diet as well. So it's okay to get veggie burgers for a barbecue party or veggie hot dogs for your kid's birthday party. These foods help us maintain our vegan diet and make it accessible too. So by including a variety of foods to enjoy as a family definitely allows us to not give up some of those favorite foods that we enjoy. So raising vegan children is a rewarding journey. The impact of raising a vegan family really goes far beyond what you put on the dinner plate. Your entire lifestyle evolves around what food you bring home to the habits and values that you cultivate in your household. And so you have the opportunity to really decide what that looks like for you and your family, because it can be unique. And a perfect example of that is for us in our family, we value compassion. Compassion is something important to us. And so we want to teach our daughter to extend compassion to not just animals, but to peers and herself as well. And a recent event that we showed compassion to her, or that we taught compassion, was we took her to Spring Farm Sanctuary, And it's not too far from here. It's, it's west of Minneapolis, so it's fairly close. And it was really fascinating to see her interact with the animals because she was so natural. She kept extending her hand to want to touch the animals and even allowed a goat to sniff her hand. So kids can be very nurturing in that way. And that was something that, we wanted her to experience. And that was something that was important to us. And you can do the same in your family too. And if you like support in your vegan journey, you can definitely reach me via my website at nutritiousvita.com. You can also reach me via Instagram. I'm very active there at nutritiousvita. I share nutrition tips and also meal ideas for vegan families. I will be here at a booth. If you have any further questions, I can help answer and make you feel more at ease and reassurance that a vegan lifestyle is safe and appropriate for families. So thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed your time today.